in a row with the blue background and the smile, we got David Rush, an executive coach, consultant, trainer, working with business executives to transform their skills in communications, presence, sales, negotiations, and more. He spent 15 years across the financial services world at Greenwich Associates, Bear Stearns, JP Morgan, and Bank of China. In recent years, he's transitioned to working with individuals and groups to transform how they show up in the world and expand their impact and influence in spoken communication. What up, David Rush?
Hey, good to be here once again. Day 2. I like it. I wore my Fun Friday shirt. That's why this shirt's a little flashy. So I knew it was Fun Friday. I thought I'd dress up.
David, you have quite the pedigree, brother. I mean, those are some major places to have been. Super impressive. And what created the transition in your heart from going from the top of this amazing corporate world into working with people in and outside of it? Like, what was that transition about in your heart?
The quick story was I had challenges myself communicating and being comfortable communicating. And through that process, I got to work with other people in Toastmasters and different programs where I found the fulfillment in working with other people rather than working behind a computer screen and some of the roles that I was in. So it transitioned to giving back, which is what I love to do.
I have a dear friend who his name is he hasn't said this publicly, so I'll keep it here. But he's worked on some incredible M&A work and multi-billion-dollar transactions, and he's done just huge things in the world. And we were talking about it one day. He's like, yeah, man, I want to get more involved with people, though. Like, I want to feel the impact of what occurs and not just work with a giant corporation. I know it affects people, but I don't feel it. So, I connect with that dynamic. And yeah, really appreciate you, David.
Thank you.
How about a fun fact?
Well, the fun fact of this fun shirt is I was in a whiteout party about a year ago at a convention in Vegas. So that's where this shirt comes from. And I bring it out on special occasions. It's not an everyday shirt.
That is awesome. Well, thanks for being here on Fun Friday. And thank you for your generosity and your energy.
My pleasure.
Brando.
Beautiful. Let's continue with our first contestant. I'm going to first read his professional bio. And I'm going to tell you a few things I know about Mr. Joseph Rothman. First off, his title, he's Director Client Development for Boca Pharmacy Group. His specialty is working with federally funded health centers and community-based organizations on new ways to create access to medication for people managing chronic illness in underdeserved communities across the United States. After working for 14 years in finance, he switched careers and joins the specialty pharmacy team at Boca Pharmacy Group in 2013. The possibility of creating a business with a mission benefiting communities in need first, not just my bottom line, really motivated him back then and still does today. And honestly, Joseph is one of the most integrous salespeople. He is fun to sell with. He is fun to sell to. We've had beautiful confrontations with each other. He has said no multiple times to Fernando, and yet he said yes to being on here today, and that's what matters. Dan Izaki is source. He is smiling right now because he knows what I'm talking about, but we're doing the dance. We're having fun, and more importantly, it's rooted in loving all people and integrity. So Joseph Rothman, what's up, man?
Much, how are you? Thank you for having me. I am without my Fun Friday shirt today.
Wow, that's awesome, Joseph. And Joseph, where are you physically in the world?
The South Bronx.
Oh my goodness, that is
in New York.
Fun times. Near Yankee Stadium or no?
Yeah, right on 106. We're on 163rd, a little further east.
Very cool. And what's a fun fact?
Fun fact for me is that I've run 3 marathons over the last handful of years, and I'm still trying to figure out why.
That's awesome. Welcome, Joseph. And I appreciate your saying no to Fernando. I'm just kidding. And, what's happening?
That's awesome. So let's continue with our second contestant. We have Jo Coburn. She's a functional medicine practitioner specializing in helping people who have gotten stuck in their symptoms get back on a path to wellness so they can pursue their dreams. Married to her high school sweetheart and mom of 5 kids that she has homeschooled and lives in WNY. Is that West New York? With her family and dog, cat, and 10 chickens. Okay. Her ultimate joy is seeing people who thought they had a life sentence of disease get well and thrive. What up, Joe?
Hey, how are you?
Hey, so
yes, 10 chickens.
10 chickens. I think we've discussed like egg laying here together on the Real Raw, but it's like about an egg a day. Is that accurate or no?
Yeah, it starts off as an egg a day, and then they taper off.
Got it. Okay. And you go by Joe or Joe? Like, what's the?
Yeah, Joe.
Okay. Thanks so much for
Joe's
being here. Yeah. And aside from 10 chickens, how about any other fun facts that you can share about you?
Pretty fun.
That's a pretty fun one.
Oh, fun fact. I don't know. We've been on this pickleball thing, right, Fernando?
Yeah, we have.
Like we have, right? I mean, we keep talking about. I have a pickleball ornament on my Christmas tree.
Do you really?
Yeah.
They actually make pickleball ornaments?
I do. I was talking to Adam. My in-laws brought pickleball from Florida to Western New York.
Oh my God! Did you? That's unbelievable. That is unbelievable.
Yeah.
Is Adam Gugino here with us in the ether somewhere?
He is not. So I'll tell you our secret plan, Sean. Joe and I are like training because I'm going to secretly kick Adam's A in pickleball the first time I ever play. And Joe is like training me on how to do so.
Oh my gosh, Joe, that would be amazing. That's got to be a Facebook Live. Joe, we promise?
I'm not the greatest pickleball player. I'll admit. It's fun, but it's not,
Well, I will say this,
it's
Joe.
not my primo sport.
My mom's husband, Jerry, who's an amazing guy, and he's very nice. And we're sitting at dinner 2 nights ago, and he's like, he goes, Adam plays pickleball? I'm like, yeah. He goes, isn't that like for old people? And I did not say one word, Fernando, to him about it. So it was very, very funny. For those that don't know what we're talking about, Adam Gugino, co-founder of Unblinded, has decided that pickleball is his exercise of choice, and we tease him relentlessly. He's like, I'm a great pickleball player. I'm like, dude, you're playing people that are 80. Of course you're a great pickleball player. So, yes. So, Joe, welcome.
It is my in-laws that compete, not me. So.
Well, let's have one of
and
your...
Adam also eats organic air, and that is Adam Gugino.
So, Fernando, we have some amazing judges.
Yes, let's start off with Dino Champagne, Vice President and Division Manager with Asset Prevention, Inc., specializes in assisting investors to defer tax through the 1031 tax code, and her golf score would make any bowler proud. Welcome, Dino.
Dino, what's your average golf score?
Let's just say that it's above 100 on any given day, but it's not my day job, so it's all good.
Well, Dino,
it is asset preservation. I don't prevent anything other than taxes. So
that is super cool. And why are you in love with preserving assets and taxes, and what does that mean to you in the world?
Well, what it means to me is what I like about what I do is it gives investors and business owners the opportunity to grow their portfolios, to grow their business by, deferring tax on the sale of any real estate asset. So it sort of keeps the economy going. So it's a good thing. It's a good thing. And it's not a tax loophole. It's actually a part of the tax code. So we'll get that from time to time. People go, oh, it's a 1031, it's a loophole. No, if it's a part of the code, it's the code. So that's what I enjoy, watching people to be able to build their portfolios by utilizing this.
No, awesome. And fun fact clearly is your golf score. But any other fun facts about you and what you're up to in the world?
Working. We've been, just making this call today has been a little challenging because my hair's on fire with a lot of stuff. There's a lot of transactions going on right now, even with this pandemic. It seems to be really, very, very active. So my fun fact would be I would like to have fun going out on the golf course and playing, but too busy for that right now. So that's going to be a goal for maybe the next couple of weeks. But it's pretty hot here in Southern California, so I may want to stay in the air conditioning a little bit.
All right, Dina. Well, here's to your continuing to scale and free up your time, because clearly you're in demand because you're a rock star. And thank you for being here.
Beautiful.
Fernando.
And let's continue with our next judge, a very special guest, Miss Monica Adams, subconscious mind expert and quantum energy healer. And she is the co-CEO of Heart-Led Leaders. She trains and certifies coaches to give clients radical breakthroughs in less than 15 minutes by using proven subconscious mind and quantum field strategies. She enjoys helping people break through limitations and enter into a state of freedom, purpose, and power. She's been a serial entrepreneur in the healing space for over 7 years. She's owned a brick and mortar meditation, conscious events, and coaching center. She's created Radiance Festival, the first holistic music festival in New Jersey, and now the co-CEO of Heart Led Leaders, your mindset and spiritual heart quarters to stay high vibe no matter what. And fun fact, she's actually related to the founding father, John Adams. And I wouldn't say this if I didn't mean it, but Monica is actually one of my best friends. My list of friends is really small. My list of best friends is even smaller than that. And I'm proud to say Monica's in it. She's been a sister. We've known each other for years. I had the pleasure of hosting those Radiance festivals with makeup and paint on my face. We've had an amazing time. We've traveled. We've created beautiful memories. She is a great soul. And welcome, Monica Adams.
Whoa.
Hello, it's so nice to be here.
Monica, welcome. That's some impressive stuff. And if I could ask this, how are you related to John Adams? Like on which side? And yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, my father's side. So the last name Adams really goes back. My cousin is a history buff, and he traced us all the way back. And it was actually pretty funny one Christmas when he was like, all right, I got all the hard evidence. Here it is. And who would have thought? I mean, I look just like him, obviously. It's like right there. But it's pretty cool to have such a powerful DNA running through my blood. So absolutely honored to say that he's an ancestor of mine.
Oh, that is super awesome. Congratulations. And for those that don't know, I'm actually blind. So literally, so I don't see that. There would be or would not be a resemblance, but I'm presuming that there's some meaningful differences between you, John Adams, and you were being fun and sarcastic in that moment. Am I hearing you correctly?
Yes, absolutely. My mother's Colombian, so I have very tan skin, dark features, so you wouldn't guess it just by looking at me.
Well, Monica, that is super cool. And that is definitely a fun fact. And so for you, all this like consciousness and, mindset, where did this all come from?
Yeah, for me, honestly, we share some similarities where Tony Robbins was the first person to really open me up into this world. And I saw how he was giving people radical breakthroughs in such a short amount of time, yet he wasn't saying anything we all don't know. And so I went down the rabbit hole of neurolinguistics, which led me into meditation, which led me into these other layers of consciousness that were able to enter. I always say to people, when you go to sleep at night, you're entering a different consciousness. We just don't really talk about that. And so I've really learned to specialize helping people get into that theta state, which is that subconscious mind, to rewire any stories that they picked up that just really aren't serving them. And I always say to people, the reason why we have limitations in stories, we made a story that means something really meaningful that isn't true about us like that, but we can rewire it like that as well. The reverse is true. And so that's what I love to do for people. And it lights me up every day. And I'm excited to be on this call with such powerhouses themselves. So thank you so much. This is beautiful.
And where are you physically in the world today?
Right now I'm in Sedona, Arizona.
Beautiful. Sedona is amazing. Do you live out there or just out there temporarily?
I just moved. Yeah. So I live here now, and it is tremendous. Honestly, it's captivating. Just running an errand, you're like, wow, look at all these mountains. You just feel alive here. So it's a beautiful place to be.
Yeah, I've had the privilege of being out in Slide Rock State Park, jumping off that 44-foot jump out there, and a lot of time in Enchantment and other beautiful places out there. And then Tony Robbins' Platinum Spiritual Trip is coming up out in Sedona. So maybe we're out there, we can all connect up.
That'd be beautiful. Absolutely.
Yeah. Fernando, why you been sandbagging all these great relationships, brother? Like, what's up? I have lots to say about it.
The time is now. The time is now. So yes, please say it. There's a little bit of sandbagging in Fernando, but it's all in love and purpose. And I'm just so warmed up to be sharing with fine folk that I know within our programs, Joe, Dino, David, Joe Rothman, and now Monica. So it is exciting to be merging ecosystems for sure.
Yes, I am present to sandbagging this. So yes, I am very present to that. My dear Padawan, thank you. Who is next?
The next judge is this guy, Fernando Valencia. Sean, do you know him?
I do know Fernando Valencia. That is amazing. So you are going to be host and jumping in the judging seat. That's amazing.
Correct.
So, and why don't you share a little bit about yourself and what you're up to in the world, Fernando Valencia?
Well, thank you. Formally, it would be the chief co-creation and co-founder of Unblinded. And I usually find myself daily talking to superheroes. And what that means is I've had the privilege and honor of, learning from Sean, partnering with Adam Gugino, creating this beautiful movement of Unblinded. And what we do in the world is that we create 80 to 120 speaking engagements a month with superheroes and professionals just like you. And we're stepping into the world of showcasing that influence is a superpower, and we teach it. And I'm not talking about like Instagram influence. I'm talking about real influence, heart-centered, loving influence. And my fun fact is that my favorite superhero is Goku, and I enjoy playing Nerf gun battles with my brother in which I shoot him in the eye and then run and laugh. So those are my 2 fun facts for today.
And I will say this, Fernando, the job that you have done has been utterly extraordinary at every level in Unblinded, from relationship development to being the deepest dive into the formula ever and its micro distinctions. And your rise in mastery continues to be mind-blowing awesome. And thank you for being your brother.
Well, thank you for your mentorship, Mr. Callaghan, and your friendship as well. So
Yes,
let's
sir.
drop in.
Lots to do. Let's drop in. And yes, let's see. Joe, I have a 1 or a 2 under the table. What do you think it is?
2.
It's a 2. So you have 1 to toss. Would you like to go first or second in round 1?
I'll go second. I'll
Cool.
let Joe go first.
So it's like Joe and Joe. Do you prefer Joseph or Joe?
Either's perfect.
Okay. All right. So I'll go Joseph. That's okay, since we have
Perfect.
Yeah. Okay. So Joseph, this is about Hello to Yes. This is about unlocking the superpower of influence, and so you get to choose whomever you'd like David to be. And it's whatever yes in the world that you're seeking that matters to you. So who would you like David to be?
So I would like David to be the executive director of a health center that recently received some new funding. They're expanding programs, and I want to have a conversation with him about our pharmacy services.
Cool.
He's already accepted like a 5 to 10 minute conversation. I'm shooting for the bigger 1 hour or more in-depth meeting.
Yeah, Joseph is prepped up and ready. I can feel it. Round 1, judges were assessing is how effectively Joseph connects, the depth of connection, and putting something at stake. And then David's going to get a call like 3 minutes in, to hey, Joseph, I got to come right back. The second round is going to be about Joseph explaining who he is, why David would want to be doing business with him, as well as his product, services, and solutions. Moving on to yes. So Joseph, are you ready?
Yes.
All right. Please take us in.
All right. Hey, David, how are you?
I am well, Joseph. Great to connect.
Awesome. I appreciate you taking a few minutes to talk. There's a lot I could tell you about my company. Before we get into that, I noticed that your health center just recently received some new funding, and you have all these new programs, and you've really grown over the past couple of years. Can you just tell me a little bit about the recent growth and how you got the organization to this point?
Yeah, it hasn't been easy, and with growth, there's challenges as well. So we've brought in a lot of people to help facilitate the direction we're heading, and also requested a little extra funding, and that kind of came through recently. So we're really looking to figure out how to maximize our benefit of that, but also make sure that we're as efficient and effective as possible with our growth, because that's a challenge we've been facing.
So you said challenge. What were some of the more specific challenges that you said you saw? I'm sorry.
I'd say efficiencies of scale. We've got a lot of people under our umbrella, but at the same time, it's not always easy to manage that effectively and ensure that the talent is meeting the priorities and things that we're trying to accomplish within the growth and the service of our customers ultimately.
Awesome. So as you're managing all that and expanding, what kind of programs are you focused on right now?
I think really just figuring out how to best serve the communities around us and ensure that health is a priority, and that we can work with people who are struggling the most, but also revenue is an issue there too. So we want to make sure the price point is right. Does that make sense?
Well, when you say price point, can you expand on that a little bit?
Well, we offer a number of services, but we don't want to be too high in our price such that the folks that we really care most about are able to access our product and our services.
Got it. So let me ask you, if everything goes all your way, where does this all end for you? 10, 15 years from now, what do you see your health center looking like? If your revenue grows at the right rate and you see everything the right way, What does it look like?
I mean, I'm looking for national brand, a leader in the industry, not only in the presence or the revenue, but really the quality. And I know the health field these days is sometimes either underserved or under quality in terms of what people are receiving. So more of a broader presence, but also known for quality, reputation, and service of people rather than just a great company that's thriving.
Awesome. So when you look at the patients that you're serving every day, where do you see the best outcomes right now?
Inside our business, I'd say internally dealing with folks who are afflicted with certain conditions where we're matching not only quality service, but also the latest in healthcare procedures so that we're not only implementing good care, but we're using the best and most up to speed, I'd say, implementation of what's on the top of people's market right now.
15 seconds to go.
Right. And let me ask you a question. When you partner with a pharmacy, what do you typically look to see from them for you to know that it's the right fit?
Integrity is number one, and just knowing that they are really behind how it's not just a number or a person. They actually have a little bit more care and concern for the folks that they're working with and engaging with. I gotta grab a call, so I think we can jump on another call in just a little bit if that works for you.
Perfect. Sounds good.
All right, Joseph. How does that feel for you, Joseph?
It felt good. It felt decent.
All right, David, if you could, give me a number from 1 to 10 on the depth of connection you felt.
Great connection. I give it an 8. But I was struggling to be specific about the industry, so that was where maybe I was battling a little bit.
Yeah, like I noticed it was like we were off on the context because it's hard to know about it. But
yeah, but excellent job, Joseph. Excellent. Joe, who would you like David to be?
Hey, Joe, you're currently muted. Oh, and by the way, as you unmute, we also have another judge, and I'm going to step out of the judge role. We have Adam Gugino. So we were just talking about the guy who eats organic air, the guy who loses to 80-year-old grandmas on pickleball, and all those different dynamics. So what up, Mr. Gugino, and welcome to the party, man.
I am happy to be here, and I will definitely pick up the judging in round 2. I caught a little bit of Joseph. Sounded great, but looking forward to the rest of the group.
Awesome. And we'll explain who Adam is a little bit more in a moment. But Joe, are you ready to go?
I'm ready.
Who would you like David to be?
David could be himself.
Cool. Take us in, Joe. You'll hear. By the way, you hear an alarm with a minute to go and 30 seconds to go, and then complete. So please take us in.
Right. Hi, David. How are you today?
I am well, Joe. How are you?
Good. So I got your name from a mutual friend who said that we should chat. What are you up to in the world?
Whole bunch of things. I work, corporately. I'm working with individuals and organizations to transform how they communicate at a core level, personally, professionally. But then I'm also building out my own brand in terms of my own private platform and the services that I want to offer as individual coach, but also life strategist, business strategist.
Great. What are some of the biggest challenges you see in building out your own business?
Well, I just recently made a contact with somebody who's a brand manager in the Philippines. And so that's actually, I'm rebranding right now. So that's one thing is getting a lot of exposure and traction in situations like this, being on a stage and a microphone more often, whether that's social media platforms or just getting in front of potential clients as much as possible, because I know that's where you really make the difference, is connecting with people.
Okay, so who's your ideal client? Like, what are you looking at? You're building your business. Who are you looking to serve?
People who are really trying to take themselves and their business to the next level. So I know that's kind of where I am, but I also have worked with folks in that capacity from a corporate level. So that's really who my sweet spot is people who are getting their feet underneath them, but want to expand and do their own, make their own dent in the world.
Okay, great. When I think about the people that I work with. And I think about the people that I serve. I'm a functional medicine practitioner. So, I mean, we really are like two separate things. But a lot of what I do is help people to feel better so that they can pursue their dreams. And sometimes in that process, in helping people pursue their dreams, I find a lot of times that they don't really even know how to start their own businesses and do their own things. So, so I guess when we have this conversation and I find out that you're specifically in the market of helping people like that, I wonder if there's something that we could do together to build each other's businesses up. How are you as far as in healthcare? What's your philosophy?
I've always been somebody who's taken care of his health, and over the last 4 years, I started getting involved with a company who does that specifically. So that was a core of who I am and what I really care about. So I think I bring that to the table. And over the last 6 months, I've really been connecting with a lot of people. So and certainly you seem to be on a par with some of the things that I'm focused on as well. So I'm always happy to connect and figure out where partnerships can be further enhanced.
Well, let me tell you a little bit about how I perceive health. I believe that everything that we have in our bodies are there to help us stay well, and that if we give our bodies what they need, then they naturally come to a place of balance and fulfillment. And I am getting the idea that that is something that you believe also.
And Dave, you got to take a quick call. You can bounce back in just a couple minutes.
All right, Joe, got to take a quick call. We'll connect in just a little bit.
That's great. I'm really excited that we found some ground that we might be able to, help each other on, and I look forward to talking to you soon.
Great, sounds good.
Joe, how'd that feel for you?
For me?
Yeah.
I couldn't hear. Sorry.
I'm sorry.
It was good. I went into it because I just wanted to play around with just a absolutely open conversation. So I think it went pretty well.
Yeah. And what do you like? What are you seeking to do in the world? Like, what's your ultimate vision?
My ultimate vision, I want to see functional medicine and natural holistic medicine be more readily available to more people. So the more people I can connect with that share that philosophy, the better.
All right, awesome. All right, let's drop in. And judges, we need about 40 seconds of feedback for Joseph and Joe. And you'll hear an alarm go off about 5 seconds out of 40 to go. And then if it's okay with everyone, I'm going to say at that 40-second mark, 5 seconds after the buzzer, hey, and when you have first score, and that'll be our way of keeping moving. Vino, what do you have for Joseph, please?
I would say, Joseph, you probably build up a little bit more rapport before you start getting into the questioning. You're definitely knowledgeable on your questions. Your questions were very good, and they were eliciting information about, how you could possibly work together, I think. I would like to see a little bit more conversation as opposed to more of a question and answer. So a little, when he's responding, maybe give him some feedback on his response and then let that slowly lead into the next question. So that would be my recommendation for what I saw. So just a little bit more rapport. Obviously, you have a total grasp of what you're doing. I would just say, just make it a little bit more conversational as opposed to a Q&A solely. Okay, just my 2 cents.
And for a score, do you know?
Oh, what is a scoring thing?
On a scale of 1 to 10.
1 to 10, I would say probably an 8. Yeah.
And how about for Joe?
Oh, for the other Joe. Okay. Same thing. What I would think would be beneficial for when you're introducing, what's the purpose of the conversation? So what do you have that will help, that you can help this person with? So just, again, building up a little bit more rapport. I was trying to figure out what was it you were trying to get from David. So I'd say just maybe set the table a little bit better so that it's more of a collaboration that you're trying to get from the other individual. So, just, and it's an awkward situation because I've done it. So I know what you feel like when you're doing something like this. But I would just say a little more rapport, a little more conversational, but and trying to make the connection as to why you want to connect with him, probably a little bit more in the beginning of it. So on the score, I would say about a 7 on for Joe, for female Joe.
Oh, awesome. Thank you, Dina. Monica, what do you have for Joseph, please?
Yeah, I feel like I'm going to repeat a lot of what Dino said, so I'll keep it short. For Joe, for the first round, yeah, like your questions are phenomenal, and you could see that you're really invested in understanding, what him and his company are doing, especially with the new funds. And I would say tie in the questions a little bit more smoothly because it was a little like Q&A. So just finding ways to like pull in what he says and lead it into the next question a little bit more. But you could tell that you were really curious. Like it was evident that you were asking really beautiful questions, and more eye contact, I would say. I don't know if you have questions on the side that you were looking at, or if it was just the way I was like viewing it, but more the best we can on these little Zoom calls of like trying to get that feel that you're in the room with him. I think that would be my feedback, but overall I thought you did tremendous. Score, I would give you a 9 out of 10.
Awesome. How about for Joe? Monica.
And Joe, so I would say, I feel like me and you probably share some similar DNA. So I would say set your intention at the top of it for yourself, so you know where you're really leading him. It was a beautiful organic conversation, but I was curious of like, what does she want? Where's the yes? Where is she going to lead him to? So just set your intention beforehand. And the other thing I would say is maybe like if you have a story of how you've collaborated with someone like him in the past and how it's worked out, so he can see the vision, because they are a little different, but obviously you can make a collaboration cross. So if you have any examples of real life stories that you could be like, that could really bridge that gap, I think would be really beautiful. But overall, I thought you did really fantastic. Very friendly, very personable, really with him the whole time. So it was really great.
And a score? Monica?
Or I'm going to go 7 out of 10 as well.
All right. Awesome. Fernando, you ready, brother?
I am ready. So, thank you, Dina and Monica, for saying really beautiful things. Total in agreement. Joe and I had multiple conversations. So loving your question 3, part of emotional rapport, truly hearing the formula in your voice. Congratulations from our meeting in January to now. It is to hear the formula live and present. What I will share is, and I'll share from my heart, which is my greatest growth area right now, is the variance of my energies. When people are like, oh, you sounded like you were doing a checklist. I know you don't have a checklist, but you're channeling my inner personality known as RoboCop, because you live in like a world where everyone is serious and you got to like speak to them and they're professional. And listen, David just wants to have fun. He's dealing with all these things. He wants to kind of lighten up sometimes. And that would make a greatest difference. So variance in your energies would totally make it a completely different experience. I'll give you an 8. And Joe, I just love you. Your emotional and energetic transference is so pulling. Even if I close my eyes, I can feel your smile the whole time. I can feel you genuinely care. I can tell there were moments where you might have gotten a little in your head, dropped out of your heart. And that's the only reason why you weren't in the 9s. Outside of that, the whole time you were in the 9s, it was those little moments when you were like, should I ask this or should I ask that? That like you slipped from your amazing like inclusion energy. So my only advice would be stay in your heart, because it's awesome and it works and you have a heart of gold. So I will give you an 8.
Excellent. Awesome job in round 1. I'll give a little bit of feedback after round 2. Joseph, would you like to go first or second in round 2?
And just for 1 second, because I literally was cracking up. Can we just acknowledge Adam Gugino's like Will Ferrell like esque right now with the sweatband and the hat? He has like a pickleball jersey on. Like I was literally cracking up. So I just want to acknowledge his inner Will Ferrell.
Where is Adam's headband or his?
It is on his arm. His wristband.
I've been rocking this style, Fernando, for the last couple weeks now, just in case.
I love it.
Adam, I love you, and I think you need just a headband as well, like a nice headband. I think would be like excellent. I think that is throwback pickleball-ness in 2020, taking us into the 20s. Yes,
I will definitely maybe do it. definitely maybe.
All
But
right,
no,
so-
I'll back for both of them. I thought they did a wonderful job. I would say the questions were great, a little bit more depth, and they were sounded like probing questions and a little bit more, looking for the why. I think it was right there. David wants to talk about, why he's doing what he's doing and putting something at stake. But other than that, they both did a great job.
Yes. So for those that don't know, aside from being a pickleball aficionado, Adam Gagino did take a company from just under $4 million to $750 million, building a sales force from 0 to 500. And with his integrity and heart, walking away from all of that, millions and millions of dollars to build Unblinded. So yes, it's pickleball and Unblinded. Yes, brother?
Couldn't have said it better myself. And looking back at seeing you on stage a year ago, being completely impressed and overwhelmed by everything you were doing at Business Mastery, to fast forward a year later and have you on stage again yesterday, mentioning me as a partner. And that's why I walked away from that money. Every bit of being alongside you has been absolutely priceless. So yes, thank you so much. And looking forward to the rest of this competition.
You, Fernando, and the entire Unblinded team, unbelievable. Thank you. Joseph, round two. Would you like to go first or second?
I'll get it over with. I'll go first.
Oh, no, Joseph. Oh, my heart is heavy.
Why? No, come on.
Come on, brother. This is like stage and a microphone. People, there's possibility. It's like present. So, all right. Are you ready?
Yeah.
All right. So just a continuation of the first conversation. David is back.
Awesome. Hey, David.
Hey, Joseph. How are you?
Good. Listen, I appreciate you giving me some time to tell me all about your organization. Is it okay if I tell you a little bit about Boca and how we help organizations like yours?
Yeah, that sounds great.
Awesome. So we were founded in the South Bronx in about 2001. And I came to work here around 2013. And, we really started to see a need within the community for services. And the unfortunate part was we saw every day that the people that needed the most resources, we had to turn them away. And the people that were winning every day were the middlemen. There were too many called chefs in the kitchen. And we just knew there had to be a better way because we just had to keep turning people away. And, we decided to build this service really with one goal in mind. And that was to put the patient first. And we knew if we put the patient first, then everything else would fall into place. And I could tell you, there's a million different services we have, a million different ways we've partnered with organizations. But really, there's two data points that really stick out to me that kind of help me show you who we are. And one is, there was one organization, by the time we set everything up and got them going, we were able to help 1,000 uninsured patients get over 9,000 prescriptions for completely free. Nobody lost any money. And these people, the community had such access that they've never seen before. And on top of that, another point that sticks out in my mind is often what we do is we do a lot of outreach and we talk to your clients and we try to educate them on what's available to them. And I was at an outreach, I was about to speak to about 30 people one time. And this woman comes over and she gives me a hug. And out of nowhere, I'm a little confused, kind of trying to figure out why this woman gave me a hug. And it was the third time we'd been to this organization. And she said to me, she goes, for the first time in my life, in over 40 years, I've been undetectable for HIV because of the help that you provided. And, it almost left me speechless. And those are kind of two of the outcomes that we've seen in organizations that we help. And, I can't tell you everything today, but, my hope is that the next step would be to sit down for about, 30 to 60 minutes and kind of do a deeper dive into the logistics of how we can help you and learn about your programs and really what you're doing to figure out how we can fit in. Maybe we can't fit in, but I really think we can. And I would really love to have this deeper dive into it. And curious, how do you feel about this?
Well, as I said earlier, I'm committed to having a company that thrives, but also to really take care of people like you just described and have the underserved served in a way that really makes a difference for them. So it sounds like you probably have some insight into that world. And that would be useful for me moving forward, even just to understand how you, I guess that's what would be one of my questions is how do you work with firms such as myself? Like, what does that look like?
Right. So like I said, there's a million different ways, and I'm sure once we can really understand where you are and what your needs are, there's probably things you're not even thinking about right now. So would you be open to, setting aside 60 minutes and letting us come in and talk a little bit further about, the logistics, the actual services we could do and what's available?
Sure, that sounds good.
Awesome. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Excellent work, Joseph. How'd that feel for you?
It felt good. It was more comfortable than the first round.
Right. David, if you had one word to assess the connection, how'd that feel?
Heartfelt sharing. That's those 2 words.
Awesome. Thank you, brother. Joe, are you ready?
Sure.
All right. Take us in.
Hi, David.
Hi, Joe.
I'm glad we can continue our conversation.
I know. I apologize for the choppy conversation we're having.
Oh, that's okay. So, when I work with clients, I really try to dig deep into what is going on with them. And when you work with business people, I'm sure you kind of have the same thing, right? You're trying to find that piece of the puzzle that's missing for them. So I find a lot of times people spend a bunch of time trying to get wealth, and they do it at the detriment of their health. Do you find that?
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, even if they're not trying to get wealth, they're not always taking care of number 1 first. And I think that's top priority. You can't really thrive in any capacity unless your health is taken care of.
Right. So when people are in that place, right? I mean, how do they find people? How do they get out of that hole, right? When they're not feeling energetic enough to pursue their dreams, when they're not really feeling their best, when they have these things. I have a lot of people that go to the doctor, and what they end up feeling and what they end up getting back is, well, everything's fine. I don't know what's wrong with you. Why don't you try this pill?
Yeah.
And I'd really like to see if there's some way that we can work together. Not only am I a functional medicine practitioner, but I lead a team of 100 home-based business owners. So I have a lot of people that are, they're in that place where they're helping to promote the health and wealth together, but there's this disconnect, right? Just like there's a disconnect in people trying to find their health, there's a disconnect in people knowing how to communicate that. And I think that we can serve each other in that way. And I would love to be able to give you a microphone and a stage to talk to my people. And I would hope that I would be able to, lend a little bit of my expertise in helping people connect those dots and put the puzzle pieces of their health back together.
Yeah, I feel like we probably have overlap and also access for each other. And you're speaking my language in terms of if I can share with your people something that would benefit them, benefit you, and make a difference overall. Because it sounds like your people are making a difference for a lot of people, and I can hear that also in your voice.
Yeah, it's really amazing when you can, when you touch a life, right? When you get someone. I had a client, one of my most recent clients is actually a mom, and I've been working with their 4-year-old who up until this point wasn't able to communicate and was very isolated. And with just a couple things, we were able to get him not only sitting with friends, but asking to play with friends and communicating. And it's amazing to see the transformation. So here's a 4-year-old that was going to be totally, stuck on with special services, who now is able, mom's like, he's going to go to school. He's going to be in with other kids. He's going to have a future. And he didn't have that 6 months ago. So it's fantastic. And when you can give the words, I'm sure, you have stories about giving the words to those people and having them able to make that transformation in their business. I think it's fantastic. And I really look forward to collaborating with you.
Yeah, but I mean that's one thing I'm certainly committed to is like people sometimes don't see what's right in front of them, and they just need a little help, a little push, and that's definitely important to me. So yeah, I'd love to continue the conversation.
Fantastic.
Excellent job, Joe. David, Joe, how'd that feel for you?
Oh, great.
Awesome. David?
Good, really just good connection. We kind of dropped down. It was nice.
All right. So let's take it first. Let's start with Monica. What did you have for Joseph?
Amazing. Joe, I love the storytelling. I love that heart-centered storytelling of you getting a hug with a woman and just bringing it really to life, how your services really impact. So I thought that was stellar. I even liked at the end that you said like you almost like relieved any pressure of the meeting. Like maybe we can help you, maybe not, but I really think that this would benefit you. It almost like eased the tension of what that meeting could look like. To me, I really like that. Like swung the pendulum of like, wait, no, I want that. You know, like wait a minute, what do you mean it's not going to work for me? I want that to work for me. And it really felt really like a lot of ease and grace. And my feedback would really be to keep that story, because that story really, it lit me up, and I could tell it lit David up as well. So that was stellar.
Awesome. And score?
Thank you.
10 out of 10. I loved it. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was wonderful.
Awesome. And for Joe?
Joe, yeah, this was also again like the story and seeing if he agreed. You know, do you see that when business people aren't taking care of themselves? Like, do you see that? And that to him it was like obvious yes, you know. So you got him to like, agree with you on how it's relevant for the same demographic that he's working with. I loved again that you even painted the picture of the ecosystem merge, like saying like I have a team of 100 people who, you know, are also in business industry, and like you painted the picture of like what it is that you also have that would benefit him. And I thought that was great. And like the tangible number I thought was really beautiful to hear. And the end when you used his own language back to him and said, you know, I would love to give you a microphone and a stage to speak to my people, was gold. You know, was really like, I wrote boom baby. So boom baby. So I thought that was fantastic. And it seemed like you were really just yourself the whole time. So it was really beautiful.
Super cool. Awesome. Thank you, Monica. Dina, what did you have for Joseph?
Okay, Joseph, I like the way that you're definitely much more conversational. You're a little more chill than in the first go round with it. So that really, and that resonated with your conversation with David. I do like the stories. The only thing I would say with the stories, I thought they were very, very important. I think shorten it a little bit because it was getting a little too long. But I think the impact of the story really, because it brings to the why our company can possibly help you. And that's what you're trying to get to. I do like what Monica said about the fact that, you know, you gave him maybe it doesn't work, maybe it will work, you know, the out, if you will. It's not hard sell. So that was very, very good. But I think that you're much calmer this time, which is always easy the second time, right? So I think you did very, very well in that one. It was more conversational. The stories really help bridge the why part. And to me, that's very important. Like, why use my company? How can we be of service to you? So I think you did a good job there. And so I would give you on this one, I give you a 9. So great job. Awesome. And then the other Joe, okay. I like the way you bridged what you do and what he does. Okay. Cause I was getting a little bit lost as to, cause I'm more in a, what is it? Left brain world as opposed to a right brain world. So I'm trying to figure out what you're doing, giving, providing, and what David's providing. I wasn't quite following it 100%, but you are definitely showing where you have the, where you can team up. And I do like, I agree with what Monica said too, is that you gave him the platform. Here, I can help you. I'm going to help you, you know, as well. So that was a good moment, I think. And that to me elicits, you know, cooperation and collaboration. So I think you did a great job on that one. So I would say an 8 on this one.
All right. Excellent, Dino. And Dino, real quick. So you sound like you're super busy in the world. Is that fair?
Oh, me?
Yes.
Yes. Right now. Definitely. Yes. Uh-huh.
And so, and this is like, you know, just checking in for you. So what's your ultimate vision for what you're doing? I'm hearing helping people, supporting people. dealing with taxes, but like, what's that vision look like for you?
What does the,
Just like
I have
meaning,
no idea.
you have no idea what the question means, or just like where you're headed?
I'm not sure what, yeah, I mean, what my vision is for me for what it is I do.
Yeah, like what are you building? Like what are you creating? You have a beautiful business, obviously. So how
Well,
does that fit in? Yeah.
Well, I work for a company, so it's not my company. So it's just I'm just doing my job and I enjoy what I do. So I'm not, I'm on the end of the spectrum. Okay. I'm not in the beginning of my work career. I'm on the other end of that. So it's just a matter of, doing my job and enjoying what it is I do and helping people and being responsive and such. And so that's where the stress level comes in for me and why my hair's on fire. So if I see an email sitting in my inbox, I didn't respond and a phone call, I'm going, okay, I got to get back. So I'm very customer oriented. And so.
And what's the key solution that you're helping provide? Just if you give us another like 30 to 60 seconds on that.
I'm helping people navigate through a very complex tax code. Okay. And a lot of folks that are doing it for the first time. And there's no missteps in this world. That's one of the things. I mean, it's not brain surgery by any stretch of the imagination, but there are tax consequences to it if it's not done properly. And then trying to educate people to understand what they're embarking on. Well, been doing this for 18 years. It's like breathing naturally to me, but I'm having to interpret a whole new language for the people I'm working with because they're learning new terms like, disregarded entities, boot, stuff like that. So I have to break it down and be an interpreter for the tax code. So I'm not speaking legalese, taxes. I am on the bridge between that and the consumer trying to navigate through a potentially stressful, complex transaction.
No, awesome. And do you ever think of it this way, though? Perhaps, do you think it's possible that what you do is more complex than brain surgery?
No. I think if you're doing brain surgery, you better,
I didn't know the consequences, right? Because this is an interesting dynamic. I think what I do is way more complicated than brain surgery, right? I mean, I think, right? Like, so it's interesting how we think of you're navigating so many variables, and I often think my uncle was a retina surgeon. I used to tease him and say, Uncle Jim, do you think it's possible that you have less complexity to what you do than like a car mechanic? And it's an amazingly important thing. And I'm just having fun with it, right? He was a retina surgeon. I'm blind. So we joke about it. But it's interesting to think about variables because isn't it all work just about like how many variables are you functioning with? So it seems like you're doing an incredible job. And I just want to honor you and acknowledge you,
thank you.
that you're in a space that I think is, you said, and I'm not doing brain surgery. Yeah, I mean, you may not have life and death, but the complexity of what you do is utterly extraordinary. And I think that there's, all of our work comes down to, and its complexity, the number of variables we're managing. And I think when you deal with people's money in a tax code, you got a lot of variables. So thank you for your great work.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. All right. And Adam Gugino, what do you got, brother?
Yeah, so I'm going to start with Joseph, and without question, I feel like they both got more comfortable in that second round. The story was key to the connection, and you heard as soon as he told it that he started to build some more emotional rapport there with David. I would have liked, especially during storytelling, a little bit more variance of his energies, some more pausing, because it was such an impactful story, but just the way it was told, I think could have been a little bit more connected. Overall, job from round 1 to round 2, I would give him an 8.5.
Okay, and for Joe?
And Joe, I mean, so the beginning, I felt a little uncertainty, but then she just came into her own. And just as Harrison, the variance of energies was all there, I felt that certainty, that Zeus energy. I definitely felt the goddess and some aspirational. I did love also the use of the same language, sharing of the stages and microphones. I mean, who doesn't want to, connect in that way? So I think that was beautiful, beautifully done. And I thought, yes, also talking about specific numbers, leading 100 people. Wow, impactful. You have 100 people that you lead. That's that right there was a statement of your heroic, unique identity. I think a great use of that. The only thing that I would have made sure was a little bit more on the ask, like just a very specific ask to kind of move the ball forward. But other than that, a wonderful job. I think a 9.2 for Joe.
Excellent. Joe, great job today. And how was your experience on The Real Raw?
It's always great. I love being able to put myself in situations where I am a little bit uncomfortable. Like, you know, someone saying, hey, call this guy. I think you guys might have something in common. And going into it totally blind, not knowing why I'm calling or, you know, exactly what's going on. So that was kind of the situation that I was putting myself in. You know, and trying to dig and figure out, you know, what do we have in common? Do we have anything in common?
That's awesome. And having 100, what is 100? I heard you say business owners, or what's that dynamic?
Yeah, well, it's funny because I am a functional medicine practitioner and a health coach, but you know, I've kind of organically ended up with a team of people that sell health and wellness products. So, you know, and they all have their own little unique identities of their own and how to communicate those, and they're they don't know. They're just moms with kids and people trying to get healthier, right? And they have no idea how to be business owners. So
Well, Joe, that is an extraordinary thing to have as you merge ecosystems with people and build things out. You did a beautiful job of communicating with David about it, but that will be very attractive to a lot of people to want to make sure that there's mutually integrous exchange of value. So that's a wonderful dynamic and asset, and great job today.
thanks.
Yeah, awesome. Joseph, how was today for you?
It was good. I really did enjoy it. I was a little nervous at first, but I got a lot more comfortable in the second round, and I enjoyed it.
No, well, thank you for being here. And David, brother, your energy is just, you know, like awesome. Yeah, really impressive all the time. How was today?
Awesome. I mean, and even for the contestant or the role player, sometimes it's a little nervous, but both folks in that second, you know, Joseph and Joe, really just dropped down. I felt that energy. It wasn't even necessarily what they were saying. Sometimes it was more just that, like, who they were being. And so I love being a part of it.
Yeah, really. Very, very impressive, sir. Excellent. Thank you. Dino, thank you. I know you got to jump shortly, but how was today for you? And very much appreciate you.
It's always interesting. This was my second time being involved in this. It was kudos to the two contestants, if you will. It's not easy being on the hot seat, that's for sure. Because I know the minute you finish talking, you go, oh, I could have said that, or I should have done it this way. We all do it. So congratulations to both of you for the courage it takes to do what you did. And it's not easy being a judge either. So both sides of the coin, they have the same thing. But it was very interesting. And I love hearing what other people are doing out there, which is, helps expand it. You always grow, and you grow with watching people's different styles and techniques. And you can pick and choose which works, which you can possibly incorporate in your own style. So, and it reminds me about being a little bit more cognizant when I'm having conversations, because mine's more like boom, 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 as being slow it down a little bit and have some more impact and not think of it so rote. So, it's a growing experience. So I appreciate it. Thank you.
No, thank you, Dino. Quick takeaway. It's always heart to heart versus head to head, heart to heart versus head to head. And the key simple access is, there's a lot of variables, but key simple access for takeaway is we drop into people's heart when we ask people like why and where it's going, like why, and it's authentic, right? And that's a huge drop in from heart to heart. Monica, how was today for you? And thank you for being here.
Thank you all. I think what everyone here did today was fantastic. Truly an hour well spent. It was really beautiful being a part of this. And just from this alone, the possibilities of Joe, you getting that hour-long conversation is in the bag. Joe, you doing more collaborations, it's in the bag. You guys already have it. It's already yours. And this just amplified that potential. So this was beautiful. I loved meeting all of you and seeing you guys are all up to in this world. Thank you for having me. Truly fantastic hour well spent.
Thank you. And on behalf of Adam, Gina, Frana, Valencia, the entire Unblinded team, thank you all for being here. If this is the end of the journey, influence is truly a superpower, and how we use it compounds over time to exponentially free or not our money, time, and magic. But hopefully this is just the beginning. Thanks, guys. Talk to you in a little bit.
Thank you.
Thank you.